A very good morning to all of you, or good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you are attending this conference. Before I begin my topic, before I begin my talk, a huge shout out to BISA Athens for giving us this platform to connect virtually and share our learnings around security. So again, thanks a lot, BISA Athens, for giving me this opportunity to present my talk on scaling security with shift left, scanning every single code change. Before I begin, a bit about myself. I'm Amraj Jain. People can find me on social media platform with handle as Logic Mom. I am a security engineer by mind. Have been into security for past 6 years. Dealt with the various verticals of security. I'm a cricket player by heart. If I'm not working, I usually play cricket around. I'm an active blogger on Medium. People can find my blogs on Medium with handle as Logic Bomb. Some of my blogs got published in various security magazine, and some of my research got published in various research paper as well. I break stuff to learn. This is what I've been doing for for past 6 years. Breaking security systems, breaking application, and breaking devices to learn about them, to learn the fundamentals of security, to learn what's are being behind it. So the talk of my title was scaling security with shift left. So what is that shift left actually means? So here there are two images. If you see, there's an image of red light, which traffic light, which basically turning red to stop the vehicles, and then there's a rainbow scattered with seven colors, which is pure. There's one thing common in both of this picture. So if you can find out, the common thing is the red color. So there's a red color which being used in the traffic light picture to stop the vehicles, to hold the vehicles, and while there's a red color which always comes at the end of the rainbow. Now, so there's a reason why red color being used in traffic systems. The answer is that if you answer it from a physical, from physics, physics reason, it says that because red light has the largest wavelength. That means it can travel to the farthest distance. That's why it being used as an a red, in the traffic system to hold the vehicles. While the same reason applies here, because red color has the largest wavelength. That's why it appears from the furthest distant from the source. So that means if we move away from the source, that means if you are moving right towards the right of the source, that means we are moving away from the source. And on the opposite side, if we are moving to the left side, that means we are bringing something closer to the source, or we are coming to the closer to the source. So that what means by shift left we talk about non-tech world. Now coming to computer science knowledge, we have studied bitwise left shift operator. So when we apply a left shift operator to a number, the resultant amount, the resultant quantity exponentially increases. So if we apply left shift operator of 2 to a number 25, the resultant become 100. That means if we bring something close to a source, the resultant of it, the output of it, increases to a very large amount. And that is what shift left actually means. Now if I combine both of the definition in security, it says that if we bring security close to the development cycle, if we bring security to the early stage of the SDLC, that means we are bringing security close to the source. And when we bring security close to a source, there is something which the resultant increases by a large number. What is the result we are going to talk about later in this slide. So security concerns are taken into consideration during the whole application development cycle rather than at the end of the process. This brings me to the quote which says that security should not be treated as an afterthought. This is what we have been. The world is moving towards. People are bringing security within their mindset. They are bringing security within their CI/CD pipeline as a cycle, and not want to treat security as an afterthought. That if something happens, then we will take steps. And this is what that resultant I was talking about. So when we bring security close to the source, that means we are now more proactive towards security. We are now more we are now dealing with more preventive measures rather than detective or corrective measures. So if you see this graph, it shows that as you move from a corrective measures to detective and to finally preventive measures, the effectiveness of the complete security process increases to a very to a very large number. And on the other side, the cost the overall cost to fix the product or to fix the patch, you know, drastically decreases. So this is what shift left brings about. So whenever you bring security close to the source, whenever you are bringing security close to the each and every stage of SDLC, the complete security posture increases by a very large number. The overall cost decreases, and you are now able to fix your security issues. You're able to patch your security vulnerability even faster than when you were doing security at the end of the cycle. Now you don't need to wait for the product to come and deploy in production, and then you are doing a pen testing or doing threat modeling. Now, because at every stage security has come, so you get a very detailed picture about your product, about your architecture diagram, and then you apply your security methodologies to each and every stage of HDLC. Sorry. Now we are going to talk about how we will going to achieve it, which brings me to the second part of this talk, which is about scanning every single code change with the head of SIFT lab methodologies. Now we are going to now what we are going to see here is that how we can achieve scanning every single code change using AWS code pipeline. So if you are using any CI/CD tool, or if you are over AWS code pipeline, you might know what is CI/CD, and this is a part of AWS code pipeline. So AWS code pipeline consists of code commit, code build, and code deploy. What is code commit? Basically, a managed source control code repository service like just a GitHub or Bitbucket. Just similarly, code commit is the where you manage your source code. Code build is where you run your basic tests and finally create a but running software package. And code deploy, from where you automate the deployment of your services and you go to EC2 or various other service out of AWS. This is how the typical architecture of AWS code pipeline looks like. So whenever any developer push a code, triggers the AWS code pipeline. AWS code pipeline check out the source code. They run various tests using AWS code build, and finally it gets deployed using AWS deploy. Here the webhook configured URL is the heart of continuous code scanning. In the last email we saw how AWS code pipeline able to hear what's happening in your code is through the webhook. Whenever you so there's two way where you can now tell your AWS code pipeline to get triggered if there's any changes in your code repository through GitHub webhooks or periodic AWS code pipeline. So here we are using GitHub webhooks, which so whenever you prepare your code pipeline, integrate webhooks into your code repositories, which automatically detect any changes happening in your code base and trigger the code pipeline. AWS code build, as I talked about in the last slide, AWS code build where you can package your code and run different kind of tests, and then you can finally take it to the deployment steps, to the deployment stage. So here in the code build, you can create as many as build steps that you want to create. It is not just limited to QA steps or quality assurance testing, but you can bring and write as many as security testing as well, which is now here are security steps. This is how a build spec file of a code build looks like. So when you are writing a code build file, it's called a build spec, and this is how it consists of. There are three part of your build spec of code build. One is pre-build, then second is build, and the last is post build. In pre-build, you basically set up all the dependencies, and you pull all your scanners, and in the build itself you run those scanner, you run the scripts, you pass the result. In the post build, you basically push those results to some service or whatever where you want to consume those results. This is how a typical build spec file of code build looks like. So it is a build spec file of secret scanning. What it does basically, if you see, the pre-build is basically preparing your build, downloading all the libraries, installing your tools, and then the build step finally running your tool, and the post build basically parsing your result and echoing your result to some service or to an output pipeline. There are certain capabilities which this complete framework provides you. You can run your you can run SASPOL throughout your source code. Whenever there are any changes in your source code, SAS scanning will be triggered automatically. Similarly, you can also perform dynamic application security testing. You can run dependency scanning for finding any known or unknown vulnerabilities in your libraries or in your dependencies which are you are using in your code. You can even detect secrets which are being raised through your PRs, and you can even add additional capabilities. It is not just limited to dash SAS or dependency scanning, but you can write your own checks. You can write your own modified checks where you can perform various other functionality as well. So this is how the architecture looks like for scanning every single code change using the AWS code pipeline. First of all, it first of all a user right make changes to your GitHub and or basically pushes their changes to GitHub branch. It can be your master branch, it can be your developer branch. Any changes happening in your GitHub triggers the code pipeline, because code pipeline has integrated GitHub webhooks in each and every repository. As code pipeline starts, it builds your code build. So you have written various security checks. All of them, all those checks are now running parallelly. So it is not like that if test is running and then other check has to wait for it. So all those tests run parallelly. When all those tests are run, it calls serverless Lambda, and Lambda basically pushes your result, parse it, and pushes it to various alerting and reporting platform. Here I use AWS SNS. I use to send out alert in the form of mail, and I'm using AWS Security Hub for vulnerability management. So it parses the result and pushes the result to AWS Security Hub and or Slack also for incident or alerting. This is how the result of secret scanning looks like. So as some of my developer made changes in their repository, as soon as they pushes their changes to the to the particular branch, the secret scanning runs through AWS Coldbit, and this is how it tells you what all secret being found out. Similarly, it runs the dependency checker. I have used OAuth's dependencies checker for finding any dependencies vulnerabilities in the repository. It also runs Hedolint for Docker linter, so it checks uh, whether the developer has made changes to a Docker file and then basically lint it according to the best security practices. You can run static code also scanning. I've used SonarQube, run SonarQube to every changes that has been made to your code repository. Similarly, I'm using WebSAF for performing test scanning on the code build URL. Other functionality of code hacking capability are reporting. So you can share your reports and status over Slack and Mailbox. You can alert for each and every build success or failure to tell your developer that your build is not succeeded. So you need to make certain changes to succeed it. I'm also taking care of vulnerability management. So this is what various framework lacks. They tell you about the vulnerabilities. They send out the alerts and report, but and then you need a single platform where you can manage all those vulnerabilities. So what I'm doing here is I'm passing all those results using AWS Lambda and pushing all those results to AWS Security Hub for vulnerability management. Even you can integrate this with your Jira also. This is how us reporting of Slack channel looks like. This is a very typical and not so formatted Slack message looks like. So say it's basically giving you all the errors being found out, vulnerabilities being found out when it runs a SAT scanning. You can even get the your build status over Mailbox. You can even pass this result to make it more pretty print in your mailer box. I'm using AWS Security for vulnerability management. So every vulnerability which being found out through the complete framework, it being pushed out to AWS Security and you can even, as I said, you can even integrate Jira, and on the top of it, you can integrate timely alerting to the developers if the vulnerabilities are not fixed. What are benefit provides? The state of benefit is that it's a real-time changes, a real-time checks that it provides. As soon as any developer or any engineer made any changes to their repository, it triggers the code, it triggers the scanning immediately. You can share your results and status across different communication channel. It is highly modular. That means you can each and every module runs independent, and this highly flexible in terms that you can add as many as step, and you can remove any step that you want to, and they have a standardized interfaces also. It is completely automated, so there's nothing which you have to do manually. Even the vulnerability management happens automatically at a single place. uh, I think I'm pretty short of time, so I won't be able to show you demo. So this is about a talk. If you want to, want to understand it in a more depth, or you want to see a demo, or you need this select, you can ping me on Twitter, or you can go to my website logicbomb.in, where you can get my contact information. This is about my talk, and this is about my from my side. I hope you find this talk interesting. I will be, available over Twitter DMs and my mailbox if you have any queries or any question to ask. So yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Besides, I think for giving me this opportunity to present about my talk. And again, I wish best of luck for other speakers to present their talk, and people attending this talk. They have. I hope they will have a learning experience through this conference. So thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.